afternoon, everybody. Please take your seats. Firstly, thank you for coming to the City Governance meeting, and first off I would like to acknowledge in today's meeting the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to the City Governance Committee meeting of the 15th of March 2023. I declare the meeting open at 12:11. I would like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. I'll move on to item 3, attendance and leave of absence. Everybody is here presently, so we have no leave of absence. Today has been a full-on day. We've had the City Lifestyle meeting prior to this, and we've had 3 hours. So for those communities watching at home, just note that some of the councillors may be having some lunch through this meeting so that we can press on and deliver the rest of these reports today. So thank you for your patience. I'll now move on to the reports as tabled. So 5.1, oh sorry, thank you. Item 4, declarations of conflict of interest. I now refer to the declaration of conflicts of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare a conflict of interest against any reports in today's agenda? No, there being none. Okay, we'll now move on to the first report. Item 5.1 is an update and amendment of the contract plan. Through the Director, I'll now ask Acting Administration Manager Mr Eddie Denman to enter into conversation, please. Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I take the report as read and would like to highlight that Council has spent approximately $267 million in the 2022-2023 financial year as of the 31st of January 2023, with 43% of this spend, $115 million, with local businesses. Council also now has membership with Social Traders, Australia's social enterprise procurement trailblazers. This membership will provide Council with access to social procurement resources to further embed best value decision making at Council and to provide support and access to local social enterprise suppliers. In addition, a supplier engagement and networking event is scheduled for April to assist local businesses in understanding Council's procurement processes and to maximise opportunities on how they can undertake procurement activities with Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Eddie. We're going to move through these as quick as we possibly can today, councillors. But first off, I've got Councillor Raven and then Councillor Lang. Councillor Raven, you may start.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, Eddie, there was some stuff in this report that refers to the non-price weighting for local vendors. I thought when we were moved to the advanced procurement model that we'd actually start seeing a price weighting advantage. Is that going to come forward, or is that just a... Because I thought local buyer policy was sort of constrained by the default model, and now we've moved to the advanced model. I was expecting to see some more teeth.
I just might ask Tanika Smith, who's our program lead, to come forward and answer that question for you.
Thank you. Through the Chair, yes. So we have our Buy Logan policy, which does have a non-price weighting, but you're absolutely correct. In the strategic contracting procedures now we operate, there's an opportunity through the contracting plan to target more local businesses. So for example, instead of inviting public tenders, we may do a closed tender purely to local businesses. So through our market assessment, where we're identifying those opportunities, you'll see those more strategic procurement practices going forward.
So you're going to do that? We don't need to vote or anything for that? You're just going to shift towards that in line with the local buy policy?
Yeah, so the Buy Logan policy will still remain, so we still mandate a evaluation weightage, but when we are strategic, any amendments to the annual contracting plan is when we'll be able to communicate those opportunities where we are targeting specific local businesses.
Cool. So that's going to happen with this vote, essentially?
Yeah, or yes, in place.
Great. And one more. So how hard is it to review, and I asked this with the how hard is it because I don't want to put undue pressure on the team, and I don't necessarily want to ask for a general business, like a report into it, but how hard is it to review how many contracts we've awarded to non-local vendors where there were local vendors competing for the same contract or panel?
Yeah, if it's through the strategic sourcing, so through tenders, we can go through and identify those quite easily because we'd be able to identify the respondents and then who was successful from those. So that wouldn't be a significant task that we could undertake to report back.
Is that just through the SCP, or can you do it through the LSS and the supply arrangements as well?
Yes, so we have the reporting function specifically now. If we're wanting to identify who we invited, we'd be able to generate those reporting more through our vendor panel portal. If wanting to get specific spend against contracts, we can know it's purely so through quotations that were invited through vendor panel and through tendering processes, would be able to identify that.
That'd be great. If they could just be emailed through it, if you want to send it to all councillors, fantastic. I don't know how interested everyone else is, but it'd just be good to see where a non-local vendor is selected over a local vendor, to see how often that happens and what industries it's happening in. And because I would like to go out and encourage local vendors who are either because there's not enough of them or they're missing out. It'd also be good to understand why they're missing out. Like, are they missing out because they're non-competitive, they're much, much more expensive? Are they missing out because they don't have capacity? This process of creating Buy Logan started way back in 2017, and there's been progress every step of the way, which is great. But now I feel like we're at the point where you've got the new procurement model. We can totally start digging into the data that you're collecting and finding out why they're missing out. How can we help them get in? Because unless there's a significant saving to council, unless there's demonstrable value in using someone from outside the city, my preference, and I don't know how my colleagues feel, but my preference would be that we support local jobs and we support local businesses, because that provides a value to the city that is clear and that the community is very supportive of. So if I could get that information, that'd be amazing. I'm happy for you to share it with her if you like.
Thank you for hopping into that conversation. I have Councillor Lane and Councillor Stemp.
Thanks very much. My questions were much along the lines of Councillor Ravens. I just wanted to, I was really proud to be able to shout out that the local buy had risen significantly to residents, and the feedback from residents was extraordinarily positive. They were very happy that council is supporting local businesses, local jobs, and it's a great step forward. So thanks very much for the report today, and I appreciated the detail that's gone into it.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you, the points that Councillor Raven raised, I'd love to find that information out as well. But I also just would like to know offline what some more information about P2P efficiency and PO compliance that's in the report. I'd like to understand that a little bit better if possible too. So, but if that part of that email would be great. So, thank you.
Councillor Stemp, you're happy for that to come out in an email to yourself today? Okay. Councillors, is there any further questions? Okay, I think we've got a motion up on the board. Could I get a mover for the motion that is currently on the board? Councillor Raven has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stemp, all those in favour, could I please raise your hand? That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for the Acting Administration Manager at all? No? Eddie, do you have any for us? Oh, Councillor Raven has just come in at the last minute. Go, Councillor Raven.
Sorry, Madam Chair, and I won't call for a report. I just like to escalate it to committee, because I've got a resident who is very unfortunate in having two uncontrollable events happen on her property that has impacted her insurance. One was Logan Water, so not your problem, Eddie. The other one was a tree falling from a park. Also doesn't seem like your problem, Eddie, but it is, because you control the insurance, the insurance policy. She is very frustrated because it happens once, lightning strikes once essentially, and she goes, okay, fair enough, I have to pay my own excess. When it happens a second time and it's clearly like a council asset in a council park that falls on her fence and damages it, if it was any other entity other than council, so if it happened with her neighbour, the neighbour would have neighbour's insurance would pay for it, but council says, oh no, Civil Liabilities Act says we don't have to. And I accept that legally we don't have to, but morally, when you've got a situation where lightning is struck twice, I just feel like we can go further and do more and put people out of process. I know there's a concern about setting like a dangerous precedent where if someone happens to get 2 insurance claims within 12 months that we might have to help them cover some of their costs. I actually think the costs of providing materials would be less than her excess, and council could look at that as a kind of compassionate option. But I just wanted to escalate it here so that we could either have it come back for general business next time, or get me some kind of action where I can actually go back to my resident and say, I've taken it to the highest level possible in council, and I've asked that some compassion be shown on your behalf due to the very unusual, exceptional circumstances that she's gone through.
Through the chair, happy to come back to you on that one, Councillor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Bradley also wants to enter into this conversation, so I'll let Councillor Bradley talk.
Yeah, thank you, through the chair. From recollection, when this has happened, the divisional councillor has asked for an exemption or something else. So that has happened previously.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. And through the chair, I have asked for that and been told no.
As in a report.
Oh, report exemption? Oh, really? Robert?
Robert would like to enter
Councillor
this
Bradley.
conversation. Thank you very much.
There is, take your point, Councillor Raven. There is a policy, it's also a council policy that deals with tree damage management. So probably what we need to do is revisit that policy. We will be revising all policies. I'll just make sure that one's at the top of the list in terms of revision, so that will come back to council. But council officers are making decisions within the bounds of that particular policy. So the appropriate course of action in this particular case is for the resident who's disgruntled to raise an administrative action complaint, and the decision of council is then scrutinised to make sure that it is the right decision, it is in line with council policy.
Yes, Councillor Raven.
With all due respect, Robert, you just said the council policy prevents you from paying, helping this resident. So the AAC is just an exercise in futility and frustration for the resident, because the policy says no, we shouldn't pay you, and the Act says no, we shouldn't pay you. So unless the AAC produces an opportunity for me to come back and say, hey, I've had a AAC and I'd like to ask for an exemption, as Councillor Bradley indicated, and if that's the case, I'll send the resident a text message now, and she'll have the AAC ready for you in half an hour, because she is very, very motivated to resolve this, because the fence hasn't been repaired. She's got people wandering from the park into her yard. She doesn't feel safe. Her children don't feel safe. Her pets have to be kept inside because they can get out. So it's got to the point now, multiple months after the initial damage, that she is at breaking point. So if there's a process, as Councillor Bradley's indicated, where I can request an exemption, happy to do it, and I'll bring it back through ordinary council as a GB request there to save time today. If there isn't one of those, then I'm asking for some kind of process by which we can break the policy says no loop into a compassion says yes loop.
I guess what I'm indicating is my read of the policy, that exemption process doesn't exist. It would have to be a report back to council that would override council's policy.
Great.
There is a range of, in the policy, there is a range of circumstances where council would respond. If there was negligence, we hadn't fixed the tree, if there was a range of things that didn't happen, we would respond in that particular case, and they are currently covered in the policy. So that's why I'm suggesting a revision of that policy so it comes back to council for endorsement is probably the appropriate course of action.
I agree, but it's not going to help this resident. That's the real problem, and she's left, like many residents. I didn't know that you had to report every tree near your property in case it fell over one day, because that's essentially what you have to do to get the exemption under the policy at the moment, which isn't, I think you're saying it's not great either. It's not a great outcome. But yeah, thank you, Councillor Bradley. I appreciate that advice, and I'll bring a request for a GBR and back to ordinary council.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Quick run, Mr. Eddie, run. Thank you, councillors. We'll move on to item 5.2, councillor expenses as at the 31st of December 2022. And I'd like to congratulate Anita on her new position. She is not now the acting corporate governance manager, but the corporate governance manager. Miss Anita, would you like to enter into discussions, please?
Thank you, Councillor. Quite a long interview process, or what I like to call an audition. So thanks for your time today. This is the first report under the new councillor expenses and facilities policy, which was introduced in November last year. What it does is provide detailed expenditure as at the end of the calendar year last year. As you'll appreciate from the policy amendments, I will bring this report forward every quarter. The information has been provided separately to councillors with more detail, and I thank those councillors who reviewed it and queried some particular items. I think that was really useful. The only other thing I would add is that I'm working really hard with the finance team and the IT team at the moment to enable you to have real-time access to this data so that you'll know exactly what you've spent and how much budget you have remaining in each area at your fingertips. If there's anything I'd be very happy to receive any feedback on the format of the report or whether it's useful. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Anita. I love that you're thinking about us as in being able to see this in real time. I believe you're looking at a dashboard for us to be able to see, okay, where the funds are being allocated. I've got Councillor Bradley.
My feedback is I actually really appreciated this. I found it very detailed. I wish the LIP was presented very similarly. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Councillor Lane.
Yep, thanks very much for this. The only thing that I would say is on one of the expenses, it was actually wreaths for Anzac Day, I believe. I would have liked that articulated because I'm very careful about what I claim and spend on councillor expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. I'm sure we can note that in the report. Councillor, is there any further questions? Councillor Bradley has indicated that she's happy to move the report as shown on the screen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Lane has seconded. By a way of show of hands, could I please see who is in favour of the motion? That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for the Corporate Governance Manager at all? None? Do you have any for us?
Not today, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time today. We'll move on now to item 5.3, Financial Performance Report for January 2023. Could I ask, through the Director, Ms Carolyn Bugg, to enter into discussions?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, councillors. Item 5.3 is the monthly financial report for the period ending January 2023, noting that the risks previously identified in our monthly reports continue to be a consideration and are again acknowledged in this report, although there are no new significant risks identified this month. Council remains focused on managing our cost to budget, even with the increased inflationary pressures that we're experiencing at the moment. A few items to note in the report. The overall results reflect an operating surplus of $15 million, predominantly driven by revenue, which is tracking above budget. This trend continues and is mainly driven by Logan Water Services and business unit tax, but also the increases in interest rates are resulting in our increased investment returns. There's very little variance to budget in our operating expenditure. You'll note it's $1.1 million, or less than a percentage point against the year-to-date budget. This has become the trend recently. The main driver in that variance continues to be lower than budgeted employee costs around the recruitment challenges that we're facing. I'd note that the team is still monitoring, in monitoring mode in relation to our outstanding rates, as we note the increased pressures of the cost of living in that area. Although there are no significant increases in outstanding rates, nor financial hardship arrangements across the city. Just one more note is that the invoice from Veolia in the report has since been paid since the report was completed. Other than that, I'm happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ms Bugg. Councillors, any questions? Councillor Bradley.
Thank you, through the Chair. I've been curious about the rates and the rates arrears, and very mindful of the economic hardship that a lot of people are facing, but it doesn't reflect in the report, which is interesting. I'm just wondering, have you noticed an increase in people doing, I can't remember what they're called, periodical payments, or Have you noticed any increase in that?
I can't answer to the detail of that, but those options are available to the ratepayers, and the team
Yeah.
does.
Is it possible if you could email?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. And the other question I have, if it's okay, acquisition of properties as part of the voluntary home buyback scheme on page 26. Is council obliged to put that in a report?
Obliged to put the specific properties in the report? No, we're doing the administration of that.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Has that answered all your questions? Any further questions, councillors? All right. Yes, Mayor Powell.
Yeah, just with Councillor Bradley's comments, I did pick up some media recently about unpaid rates, arrears, and it was in the Courier Mail, and the city was performing quite well compared to other cities. There's a number of reasons for that. One of them is that we're only looking at 30-something% people who have got mortgages. The other issue, of course, is there's a large component of houses, investment homes, that are bought from people outside the city as well. So I'm hoping this doesn't deteriorate, but it's something we should be mindful of. But the city is travelling well so far.
Thank you, Mayor Powell. There is extra information if councillors do want to see on page 27 of the report. We have actually got less outstanding rates there. And you're right, Mr Mayor, this is a very great place to invest your money. So come to Logan. We have a motion up on the board. Councillor Stamp has said that she'll move the motion. Councillor Bradley has seconded by way of show of hands. All those in favour, please. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to item 5.4, the 2022 to 2023 Local Infrastructure Program. Ms Bugg, you may enter the discussions.
Thank you, Chair. I'd firstly like to note that since writing this report, we've received some additional information that had to be incorporated into the tables. My apologies for the late adjustments. That was emailed out earlier today.
Thank you, Ms Bugg. I understand that was emailed to all councillors earlier this morning. I understand that we have all been in committee for a few hours now, so you may not have seen that. So it is on your emails if you have access to it.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to talk to the major changes in those tables. There are 3 changes in the tables. There's a transfer of the Tudor Park project from the low risk table. Council is delivering this project, so it is not in that table any longer. The Nofke Farm project has been removed from the report as it's funded from financial year 2023-24, and the Loganholme Cricket Club wicket upgrade has been added for endorsement into the report.
Thank you, Caroline. Councillors, does anybody have any questions? Councillor Raven.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In both the original report, and I was just quickly checking the updated report there, you've got on page 2 of the updated report, toilet refurbishment Leighton Fields or Leighton Fields in Division 5. Anyone know where Leighton Fields are? Because I don't think they're in Division 5. Div 6? Do you have them? I think Councillor Hall just said they're in Division 6. I just hope that that's not coming out of my out of Division 5's lit budget.
Councillor Raven, on our page 33 in the book, it's under Division 6. Is that been changed in the update?
It says Division 5 in the update, and last night when I was reading the report, I wrote it down as being in the original report as well.
I think it was maybe a minor technicality because I've got Division 6 here in the report itself. Carolyn, do we need to do anything with regards to that?
I have it as Division 6 too.
Fascinating.
Chair.
Right, I've got Division 5 right here, staring at it. I'm not going crazy, am I? Page 2 of the new report, and I'll just bring up the old report. It could be because I don't... No, not Sturdy Park, Leighton. Hang on. Leighton Fields toilets. Hang on, just let me buzz down to the report I was reading last night. I'll confirm that. It could just be because I'm in a digital copy. Yeah, it says Division 5 in the copy I've got as well.
Sorry, Councillor Raven.
On page 36.
On page 33, it's got Division 6, and yes, you're right. On page 36,
Yep.
it's got Division 5.
Sturdy
So-
Park's in Div 6. It's because the old money, because that says transfer of unspent funding to support existing projects. I'm assuming that because Sturdy Park used to be in Division 5, that was funding provided under DICIP last term that since would have had savings that's since been transferred. I'm comfortable with that. Just Leighton Fields has never been in Div 5 as far as I know. So can I have that 50 grand back, please, Councillor Hall?
No.
Thank you, councillor. I can actually see what you're referring to in the report, and we will adjust that to reflect the correct.
But there's no money from Division
No,
5 that's been
there's
transferred to Division 6? Just making sure?
Absolutely
Just
not.
making sure?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Need every penny.
So, Councillor Raven, Robert has just confirmed that yes, there's been some divisional funding that was left over that has been transferred to Division 6. Tony, I think you should send him a thank you card. Councillors, is there any further questions? Okay, there should be a motion on the board. Could I ask for a mover, please? Oh, this is to table the attachment, and only one mover is required. Councillor Bradley has moved that. And can I please get a vote? All those in favour? Just for the tabling of the document, that's been carried. Thank you. Sorry, and now we're moving on to the motion. So we've had to amend this motion because of the updated attachment. So if you could please just read that over, and if you're happy, could I get someone to move that? Councillor Stamp has moved it. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Fraser has seconded that. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried. Thank you. On to the next one is 5.5, second budget amendment 2022-2023. I note that this item 5.5 is a confidential attachment. A proposed resolution to move this matter is displayed on the screen. Do any councillors wish to move into a closed session at this time? Councillor Raven has moved that we will move into a closed session. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Kransky has seconded from the floor. Can I get those to vote, please? All in favour? That has been carried. Thank you. Please be advised that the meeting is now in a confidential session and Mr. Video Man, you're right to go. Thank you. We are now in open session and the live streaming has restarted. Thank you. So we should have a motion coming on the board behind me shortly. Do I have a mover for the motion? Councillor Stamp has moved it. Councillor Fraser has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for the finance manager? None? Carolyn, do you have any for us?
Just one item, if I may, Chair. I'd just like to let you know that the State Valuer has again this year conducted a property valuation of Logan City properties. The information is expected to be released by the State in the coming weeks, and officers are looking to have a report presented to Council by the State in the April committee regarding the valuations. Also noting the new valuations will be incorporated into the 3-year rolling average used by Logan in the annual rate calculations for 23-24.
So, Caroline, would those valuations, like last year, be coming to Council for display downstairs if anybody wanted to look at those?
We'll follow the same process that we do each time.
Okay, so to the community that are following us out there on the video land, the state government will be doing new valuations of properties within Logan.
That's correct. They've been completed, and the residents should get that information in coming weeks.
They'll get a letter in the mail with their valuation of the value of their property value. That's the land content and the land content only, which will then come through to Council and will display that information, and that's going to be put to the April round of committees. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Thank you. Any questions with regards to that? Councillor Bradley.
Yeah, thank you. I am mindful we're in the public. but just on that, is there any indication, if you can say or not say, of where have they gone up, down? If you can't say, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm not able to say at the moment.
Okay.
Watch this space. Thank you. Councillors, is there any further questions? Thank you. Have a great day. Councillors, we're going to move on to item 5.6, the quarter 2 2022-2023 Digital Transformation Program update. I would like to invite the Enterprise Portfolio Management Manager, Kay Sullivan, to the discussions. But before we do, I note that the item 5.6 is a confidential attachment. A proposed resolution to move this matter is displayed on the screen. Do any councillors wish to move into a closed session for this item? That's only if you want to refer to the attachment. No? Okay, let's move forward. Okay, you may enter the discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good afternoon, councillors. Report 5.6 relates to our quarterly update for digital transformation. I will take the report as read, but just wanted to highlight the following points as well. Our CEO has been consistent in his message around rising costs and the impact that this has on our organisation. So this necessitates a different way of working, and our digital agenda is one lever that we can use to help mitigate and manage our costs. There are two main outcomes from the digital transformation program. One is around IT compliance, so making sure we have systems in place, as an example, that meet our cybersecurity requirements. And then the business transformation element, which is about having tools and systems and processes in place which make it easier for our people to do their jobs. I'd like to highlight that delivering a program of IT initiatives is complex. Overall, our RAG status is at amber, and given the stage we are in delivery, that is not unexpected. In fact, as the accountable officer, I would be questioning strongly at this point in time a status of green. You will notice in the report that milestones are being achieved across the projects, and I just wanted to highlight two main challenges that we have at the moment. So the first is implementing these projects in a manner which reduces the organisational burden, being mindful that our organisation has not gone through a transformational agenda such as this one before. And the other challenge or risk that we have is the unknowns. So whilst we can have well-defined business cases which clearly articulate what is in and out of scope at the start of the project, sometimes the dependencies and interdependencies of different projects being delivered concurrently only become known or visible as we transfer through the projects. These matters then have to be resolved, which may mean a change in scope or direction, or timeframes may occur. What I'd like to highlight there is to mitigate these challenges or issues. The digital transformation project team have really important practices in place, which from a ways of working perspective means that any matters that need to be resolved or escalated are escalated quickly and escalated to the right decision maker. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Kay. Councillor Raven.
Okay, thank you for the report. Very, very helpful. And I think this is the first. Is this the first one of these we've seen for the digital transformation project?
Second, councillor.
Second one. So being able to understand where it's at and where the slow points are, the risks, the challenges are, very, very helpful for me, so that I don't come to you asking incessant questions about what's going on with the document management replacement. And just wanted to say thank you for the detail on the report and how easy it was to read.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Any further questions? Okay, we have a motion up on the board. Do I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Fraser has moved it. Councillor Raven has seconded it. By way of show of hands, could I have those all in favour, please? That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for Ms Sullivan today? None? Ms Sullivan, do you have any for us?
Could I just do an introduction, Madam Chair? I'd like to introduce Ben Douglas, who's sitting beside me. We have reviewed our resourcing requirements across the digital transformation program, and Ben will be starting with us as the program manager moving forward for the lifespan of these projects. So I just wanted to put a face to name. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay, and welcome, Ben. Hopefully we'll see you in more committee meetings. Thank you for your time. Councillors, we'll move on to item 5.7, which is the Australian Local Government Association 2023 National General Assembly of Local Government. I have the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Darren Scott, to refer to, who is going to then hand it over to these lovely girls. Kristen and Rebecca, you may enter the discussion. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today you've got ahead of you a report which outlines proposed delegates and 2 motions for the mouthful of the Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly in June 2023. No. One of the motions you've received a briefing on with regards to the carbon accounting guidelines, and the second motion with regards to policy reform for abandoned houses was requested during that briefing. Both officers are on hand to answer any questions should councillors have anything to query.
Thank you. Any questions, councillors? None? Okay. We have a motion up on the board. I'll just give the councillors a moment just to read over that to make sure that they're happy. Councillor Bradley has moved the motion. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Heremiah has seconded the motion. Councillors, we're just got to have a look at motion number 1. Just bear with us for a second. So in motion number 1, we've just taken out the and or, and we've put both and in. Yes, Councillor Heremiah.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a question around that motion from council officers. My understanding is that and or was fine in case either the mayor or myself can't go or something happens. Why can't we just move what was in the report with and or? That seems
I'll
perfect.
just seek advice, Jacob. Councillor Heremiah, just one moment, please.
No, that's probably my fault, Councillor Heremiah. I just thought that was a holding section in the recommendation, pending discussion, but happy to put it back as and or.
Thank you, Councillor Bradley. You'll prefer that as the mover, Councillor, and the and or the original motion. Councillor Heremiah, are you happy with that? Yep. Okay. So Councillor Bradley has still right to move it. Councillor Heremiah has seconded that. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. Ladies, councillors, do we have any general business for Ms Smith at all? No? Councillor Bradley?
Just a curious question. How can you be there and there? And I noticed the CEO is as well.
I do believe I forgot to leave the meeting upstairs.
Ms Smith, do you have any general business for us?
No, I don't. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Have a great day. Councillors, we're moving on to the last item of the day. I know that it has been a big one, so please bear with us. The last one is item 5.8. It is a confidential report, the CoLab Innovation Growth Hub Strategic Review. Chief Executive Officer Mr Darren Scott is going to enter into the discussions. I note that this item 5.8 is confidential. A proposal resolution to move this matter is displayed on the screen. Does any councillor wish to move into a closed session at this time? Councillor Bradley has moved it. Councillor Power has seconded. Could I please get a show of votes, please, all those in favour to move into confidential? That is carried. Thank you very much. Please be advised that the meeting is now in confidential session and therefore the live streaming of this meeting will be suspended until the meeting reopens. Councillors.
goosebumps on my body come alive. Skin on my skin, oh God. Don't know where you end, I start. If this is a dream, don't wake me up. Before you stop, before the curtains close, can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? 'Cause I'm away and need something to hold. Can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? Take me home. Something that you're trying to hold inside, but you're safe with me. Just look into my eyes. Skin on my skin, oh God. Don't know where you end, I start. If this is a dream, don't wake me up. Before you stop, before the curtains close, can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? 'Cause I'm away and need something to hold. Can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? Take me home. If you want Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Who you calling wanna be? You thought I would forget. Won't take your word for it. You think I think fanatically. You thought I would forget. Won't take your word for it. And it pains me to believe in you and everything you said I thought was true. And I reminisce your foolish shit. Tell me that I'm not ahead of you. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'll take advice happily. You're trying to destroy me. You want the worst from me. Don't you try and get the best of me. You're trying to destroy me. You want the worst from me. And it pains me to believe in you and everything you said I thought was true. And I reminisce your foolish shit. Tell me that I'm not ahead of you. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Go ahead, go and tell me I'm not. Cause you thought that I would come back feeling lost and distraught. But I'm not. Sticky criticism, some places where people listen. I won't bother copping shit from someone who just wants a vision. Yes, I am, yes, I can. And I will on demand. I got the world in my hands and I still got bigger plans. See, you're having trouble with your own shoes to fill. You think I can't go up the size, but just watch and I will. Yes, I am, yes, I am. Hey, yes, I am, yes, I am, I am, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am.
Rise and shine, see that light coming through the window pane. No more rain, nope, nope. This is the summer of love. You and me set free, gonna have fun. Here it comes, it's another sunny day. Hey, take a look, it's amazing. Let's get moving, won't you say? Hey, time isn't wasting. I'm alive under skies, a bird that took flight under the sun. Feel my delight. Rise and shine, see that light coming through the window pane. No more rain, nope, nope. This is the summer of love. You and me set free, gonna have fun. Here it comes, it's another sunny day. Hey, take a look, it's amazing. Let's get moving, won't you say? Hey, time isn't wasting. devotion, feel my delight.
ธอเคยเป็นบ้างไหมที่ใจตรงนี้ไม่มีพลังเธอเคยรู้สึกไหมบางครั้งหัวใจก็สิ้นหวังบางคนมีความฝันแต่มันไม่เป็นไปแบบนั้นเริ่มค่อยๆหมดหวังชีวิตของคนก็เท่านั้นหมดหวังสิ้นหวังคำเหล่านี้ที่มันไม่ดีกับตัวฉันคอยย้ำว่ามีหวังพูดซ้ำๆย้ำกับตัวเองลองอีกครั้งมันจะยากเท่าไรและเราจะยังสู้ไปถ้ามันต้องเหนื่อยเท่าไรต้องคิดว่าเราทำได้ต่อให้หนทางไกลล้มลุกคลุกคลานมากมายแต่สุดท้ายของคนต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปคนเรามีชีวิตและมีเวลาเท่ากันแต่เราจะใช้ทั้งนั้นให้มันมีค่าเท่าไรบางคนเริ่มจากศูนย์เพื่อไปให้ถึงเส้นชัยเราคงขาดไม่ได้คือหัวใจที่มีพลังหมดหวังสิ้นหวังคำเหล่านี้ที่มันไม่ดีกับตัวฉันคอยย้ำว่ามีหวังพูดซ้ำๆย้ำกับตัวเองลองอีกครั้งมันจะยากเท่าไรและเราจะยังสู้ไปถ้ามันต้องเหนื่อยเท่าไรต้องคิดว่าเราทำได้ต่อให้หนทางไกลล้มลุกคลุกคลานมากมายแต่สุดท้ายของคนต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปมันจะยากเท่าไรและเราจะยังสู้ไปถ้ามันต้องเหนื่อยเท่าไรต้องคิดว่าเราทำได้ต่อให้หนทางไกลล้มลุกคลุกคลานมากมายแต่สุดท้ายของคนต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไปต้องเดินรนสู่ต่อไป
You could pick up my calls. Haven't hit in your line all day, all night. 'Cause baby, I wanna make it up to you. Wanna make it up to you. But baby, I know what's wrong more than once or twice. I'm just calling you up to apologize. I made a mess and I told you lies. Made a mess and I told you lies. Would you let me make it up to you? Make it up to you. I wish you could pick up my calls. Haven't hit in your line all day, all night. 'Cause baby, I on my skin. Oh God, don't know where you end, I start. If this is a dream, don't wake me up. Before you start, before the curtains close, can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? 'Cause I'm awake and need something to hold. Can I just ask you if you wanna take me home? Take me home. Something that you're trying to hold inside, but you're safe with me. Just look into my eyes. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Who you calling wanna be? You thought I would forget. Won't take your word for it. You think I think fanatically. You thought I would forget. Won't take your word for it. And it pains me to believe in you and everything you said I thought was true. And I reminisce your foolishness. Tell me that I'm not ahead of you. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'll take advice happily. You're trying to destroy me. You want the worst from me. Don't you try and get the best of me. You're trying to destroy me. You want the worst from me. And it pains me to believe in you and everything you said I thought was true. And I reminisce your foolishness. Tell me that I'm not ahead of you. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Go ahead, go and tell me I'm not. Cause you thought that I would come back feeling lost and distraught. But I'm not. Sticky criticism, some places where people listen. I won't bother copping shit from someone who just wants division. Yes, I am, yes, I can, and I will on demand. I got the world in my hands, and I still got bigger plans. See, you're having trouble with your own shoes to fill. You think I can't go up the size, but just watch and I will. Yes, I am, yes, I am. Hey, yes, I am, yes, I am, I am, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. Rise and shine, see that light coming through the window pane. No more rain, nope, nope. This is the summer of love. You and me set free, gonna have fun. Here it comes. It's another sunny day. Hey, take a look, it's amazing. Let's get moving, won't you say? Hey, time isn't wasting. I'm alive under skies, a bird that took flight under the sun. Feel my delight. Rise and shine, see that light coming through the window pane. No more rain, nope, nope. This is the summer of love. You and me set free, gonna have fun. Here it comes. It's another sunny day. Hey, take a look, it's amazing. Let's get moving, won't you say? Hey, time isn't wasting.
Streaming is on. Thank you. Thank you for your debate, councillors. That has been a long debate on that particular report. We're going to just test the first motion. No, it is number 1. Please bear with us. Yes. So there's a motion up on the board. Councillor Herriman, could you just please look over that and see that you are happy to move that as indicated?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am happy to move that as indicated.
Thank you. And Councillor Kransky, I understand you were seconding. Are you happy with that?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes.
Okay, all those in favour with this motion, please raise your hand now. There has been 3 voters. That has failed. Can you please keep your hands up, please? So we have Councillor Bradley for, Councillor Kransky for, Councillor Herriman for. The rest, can you please go around the room and tell us how you voted? Councillor Lane?
Against.
Councillor Russell?
Against.
Councillor Raven?
Profoundly against.
Councillor Hall?
Profoundly abstain.
Councillor Fraser?
Timmy doesn't abstain, I'm against.
Councillor Bannon?
Against.
Councillor Stamp?
Against.
Councillor Wilcox is away and I'm against. Yes, Councillor Bannon?
Can I put up to move the original motion next?
Yes.
Thank you.
Councillors, this has been added to. This is the original motion plus an added section of point 4 and point 5. Could you please just move it over? Please read it over, please. So Councillor Bannon has moved that. Councillor Lane has seconded that.
So we're moving to a beneficial enterprise?
No.
No, we're moving a
Move to-
business case. That the Chief Executive Officer develops a business case for the establishment of CoLab.
Which one is this? Number 3? Okay, this is our external company. External. Okay, number 3. So, council, this is external company. So, do you want to re-establish that?
Sorry, Madam Chair. Can I have a question?
Yes.
Sorry, Madam Chair. Excuse me. I just wanted to ask the question. My understanding is of the options that were up there, if option 1 failed, that option 2 and 3 were one and the same, that the report would be written either way. I think that was your understanding as well, Councillor Bannon and Councillor Stamp.
Sorry,
Not for option 3.
I've been getting advice from the meetings team, so can I just clarify that?
Sure, that'd be wonderful.
Thank you. Okay, councillors, this is the original recommendation. Councillor Bannon, are you still happy to move that? Councillor Lane, are you still happy to second that? All those in favour, please raise your hand. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That has been carried. Thank you. Could I please get how you voted? Mayor Power?
Against.
Bradley?
In light of Invest Logan this week, against.
Councillor Lang?
Despite Invest Logan, for.
Councillor Russell?
Irrelevant to the completely different case of Invest Logan, for.
Councillor Kransky?
In the public interest, against.
Councillor Raven?
In the public interest as per the report, for.
Councillor Hall?
In the public
Please just vote what you've got to do, please.
Abstain.
Abstain. Councillor Fraser?
For.
Councillor Herrenmeyer.
Against.
Councillor Bannon.
For.
Councillor Stemp.
For.
Councillor Murphy for, and Councillor Wilcox has left the meeting. Thank you, councillors. That was a long debate. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for the Executive Chief Officer? Put that other end. The Chief Executive Officer. It's late in the day. Anybody got any general business? No? Mr. Scott, do you have any general business for us? Thank you very much, councillors. I don't believe that we have any late reports. No. That concludes today's agenda for today. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Raven, have you got general business?
I do have general business for the director. I've asked this before through a budget process. I don't want a general business report because asking for a general business report to understand the cost of general business reports seems redundant and self-defeating. But I would like to get an understanding of, provided either to councillors via email, to SLT, how, or to a briefing. I don't mind how we get it, but the actual cost of general business reports and what influences that cost, so that when we call for them, we understand the scope that we're asking for, whether they're 20 grand, 100 grand or whatever, so that we're making informed decisions about whether or not to support general business calls for reports and the impact to the budget bottom line. You happy to do that? Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Raven. Any further? I declare the City Governance meeting dated the 15th of March 2023 concluded at 2:07. Thank you very much, councillors. It's been a long day. Thank you.